lineup here, very diverse. There are people from healthcare, there are people from pharma, fintech, logistics. This is going to be an exciting panel. Why don't we begin with all of you telling us a little bit about your role in the organization, in your industry, and if you've started thinking about digital transformation being a potential solution to the skills gap problem. You want to start?
Starting to Hi. Happy evening. Happy evening.
Good evening, loudly.
Happy evening. Thank you. Because I'm not prepared anything, that's why. I do represent a fintech. We are one of the emerging large NBFC company. I do represent a company called FlexiLoans. We are building a marketplace for finance where we do have multiple lenders on one end and the MSME, SME on the other end. Like whichever loan product they want, they can come to my platform. I have an aggregation platform. It does its own AI and then does a recommendation of which lender can go through, and the entire data passes through an API. So we build a complete API stack. So that's what we have been doing it right now. Happy to be part of this panelist. Thank you. Any other questions you have?
Yeah, what I wanted to ask was, like, once you tell us about your role, are you even thinking about digital transformation in the data center as a potential solution to the skills gap? Answer that as well, please.
Yeah. So what we have done is, since we are an emerging fintech company, in my career also, like what I did is I discussed with the founders and with the investors and everything. So we took a call, let's not have any data center. So if you come to my office, it's all like a complete workspace, which is a complete modernized workspace. I don't even have a data center. Everything is a complete public cloud, okay? And we do run large sets of servers and everything exponentially keeps vertical scaling up, horizontal scaling up, all that has been taken care. From a skill gap standpoint, certainly we do have a large team. And my entire development cycle is also like we outsource to a tech company. We also have our own in-house company. So whenever anything comes from implementing what is the right technology solution, we have we discuss with our vendors, with the AWS team and my internal team. So we do have a right DevOps and DevSecOps practice. So we understand what is the best technology for application. Because end of the day, application, the objective of any data center is it should host the data. Okay, data is nothing but it's generated through an application. Okay.
True.
So we need to understand from application standpoint what is the right technology we need to get hosted. So,
True.
Yeah.
Mr. Balasubramian?
Yeah. This is Jagadesh Gupta. I am the representative in the Stedman Pharmaceuticals Private Limited. I am in the industry 23 plus years. Very strong background on business process mapping and business application development, those kind of digital transformations. Evaluating the digital transformations, to consider shortage of skills in the IT operations. Shortage of skills, the digital transformations is helping to automate our daily routine mundane works, correct? So those kind of digital transformations, we have to adopt the technologies. Thank you.
How about you?
Hey, hi everyone. Good evening. I'm Kalai. I'm part of Optum. It's one of the largest healthcare in the US. So we take care of a lot of payer provider services, and I personally manage a lot of client infrastructures which is available in the US and responsible for automating and modernizing their data centers and stuff like that. Coming to your question of how it will bridge the skill gap or whatever it is, it's definitely playing a vital role in my experience, I would say, because the clinicians, patients, or we've spoken a lot about data and stuff like that. Everything is on the go right now. The clinicians need a faster environment, much efficient environment on the go, on the tap and stuff like that, which definitely is enabled by the digitalization. And when it comes to data management, data warehousing and stuff like that, Based on my experience, the oldest data that I have seen in the healthcare is somewhere dated to 1992.
Wow.
So that's the oldest data that they have, and they're still processing it, right? So that gives you a picture of how a modern infrastructure can help some of the highly regulated industries available on the planet. So that gives you a small taste of how modernization and digitalization will help you in any of the portfolios that you guys handle.
How about you, Sudhakar?
Hi, thank you. Hello, good evening to all. I am Adini Sudhakar. I am the global head for the AllCargo Logistics Limited. I used to take care of the enterprise architecture, tech and data management across the group. Okay, so at AllCargo, we have the 8 data centers, and we are the multi-cloud. We have the legacy systems, which we are transforming to the next gen technologies, the cloud, microservices, and AIML, all those things is happening, right? So if you look at that transformation and the kind of the transformation that we are trying to add more value to the organization, right? So if you look at how the skill gap is happening, yes, because of the kind of a legacy which customer expectations are more, they wanted the data just in hands, right? So as part of this, we are trying to collate all the data from the 6 data centers, bringing into the data lake and giving the insights using the AML and how the see our industry. Our industry is now transporting the goods from the one country to the one country across the globe, from India to the North America, right? So customer wants to know where is my goods. We should be in a position to able to tell the insights. This is where it is there. This time it is going to reach in the port. From there it is going to dispatch. So all those insights which are providing by using the various digital transformation technology. That's how we are doing it.
Perfect. Arvind?
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I represent the healthcare sector, and I work for precision oncology and genomics, where we're trying to ensure that there is affordable cancer care. And that affordable cancer care is powered by the confluence of science, engineering, and medicine. And to talk about the kind of data we generate, my organization is about 2.5 years old, and we are already sitting on about 320 petabytes of data.
Wow.
That's what happens when you try to do a whole genome sequence. This is the place where there is the genuine coming together of science, engineering, and medicine. So you look at it from a silo of data center, yeah, great. But then when you look at it in terms of the data, bringing meaning to it, and bringing meaning to it in a context where all of this can actually be affordable to the end consumer. That's really where all of this is coming together.
That is so true, because at the end of it is the human element. We are maybe talking about technology, but what good is it if it doesn't help humans? So moving on to the next question, what are some of the areas where you're seeing a marked skill shortage? Because we're all talking about there being a skills gap, but what are the specific skills that people working in the industry need, and unfortunately they're lacking these days? Can you tell us a bit based on your experience and your industry?
On the lighter note, any of our consumer thinks we seriously lack skills, but I'm not.
You want to take that? Yeah.
Nowadays, the skills gap is the network management, server management, cyber security, data analysis.
Those are all major areas. Those are big areas.
Yeah, those are areas where have a skills gaps are there. So cloud infrastructure. So to overcome this skills gap, we have automate AI-driven technologies are there, AI-driven monitoring, network monitoring, AI-driven server monitoring tools are there, automated security threat detections, and then multiple cloud platforms are the analytical tools. So those kind of tools, it is helping to shortfall our skills gaps.
Yes.
Okay, I will add few more points what he said. So definitely, from the digital transformation perspective, if you see today's market, there is a lot of skill gap was there, because technology is going so fast, right? And people also need to be scale up. So the kind of the AI, Gen AI, advanced analytics, cloud computing, right? So it's so vast technologies are being coming in the picture, right? Because people wanted to generate the code, don't want to do it, right? Using the Gen AI tool, but are you good enough to have the kind of the skill tools or everything they're talking about automation, how I could be able to improve the productivity by automating the various process. You need the skills in that perspective, right? So that's where there is some of the, it's a combination of people, process and technology which we had to embed it together in order to address this skill gap, right? So that's how I'm seeing that now, because even from the transformation perspective, even our industry especially, right? Customer will send simply, in the site, you'll inquire it. There is hundreds of inquiries are coming in. Do we need to really have the hundreds of people to respond those queries? But we are not doing that part. We are running the AI bots, which would be able to read those queries, would be able to generate the quotations, would be able to respond to the customers on respecting the emails. Some agents will read those emails and respond to that.
That is an interesting point. All these lower level jobs which don't really require human intervention, only those are being passed on.
Yeah. So that's the kind of things are happening. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I would like to add one more point there. It's like rather than the skill gap, while I agree to all of the points, it's also like the mindset that the people have towards upskilling themselves and cross-skilling themselves is what is producing the so-called skill gap, is my humble submission, right? Because if you see the experience that a senior member or an architect has in a team cannot be matched by a graduate out of the college, where the graduate where the graduate might have all the coding knowledge, what all the buzzwords in the market, but the 10-year experienced architect might have not upscaled or cross-scaled. And that's where the so-called gap is arising, right? So once we plug that, give them the context, make them understand the why, I think that's where all of us put together can bridge that skill gap completely, is my humble opinion.
I can take a detour here.
Of course.
Skills can be learned. Every skills can be. Whatever
Yeah.
skills we know today, it becomes absolute in a few months or few years time. Okay.
True.
We've seen young school kids are becoming millionaire or billionaire by learning some new technologies. Okay, certainly like. So what I would say is it's more from applicability perspective. Okay. Because I'm from a fintech domain, what we used to do is we need to have best of breed of front end, best of breed of back end, best of breed of database, and best of breed of wherever I'm hosting. Okay, what kind of a technology? Because what happened, I need to face the investors one side, and with the consumers, customers, and with multiple lenders, I need to talk to them what is my platform, and then RBI audit will be there. Okay, on top of it, everything. So what I say is, if you know the applicability, we can keep learning the skills. You need to know how to use the tool. That's it. So there is a AI, go to ChatGPT or get the answers. Okay, there's various tools are there. Only you need to know how to use those tools. That's enough for me. That's what skill set is all about.
Balaji, I'll add to what you're saying. More, I'll also add this thing, not just using the skill and the tool sets, but also its applicability to the industry vertical. So we have fintech, we have agri-tech, we have health tech, we have med tech, we have fin, we have tech. We really don't have people who understand fintech.
The intersection of both.
Yeah, it's like I know something and I expect it to work. So the skill gap is really in terms of taking that core knowledge and applying it to the business area, actually to find a solution. Not to demonstrate our knowledge, but to find a solution for a real world problem.
But there is also this element that comes in where you are deploying these technologies in a data center in an attempt to bridge the skills gap. But are you essentially in a way also, like, at least to some extent, just shifting it?
It's not, I won't, I'll take that in terms of, no, it's not directly shifting it. It's kind of looking at it in terms of prioritization of where your skill goes. Skill that is mundane, that can be run of the mill, and that is difficult labor can be eliminated and speeded up with accuracy. Because with mundane and labor, you're going to have mistakes coming in. So you eliminate that and move the skill where actually the knowledge meets a real bit of solutioning. So it's, yes, it is shifting, but it is also shifting to ensure that information and insights move to a better level of it. So reducing the mundane work, and I think that's where it's shifting today.
Yeah, in addition to that, I add that point. So digital transformation can say partially the shortfalling the skills, but in addition to that, it creates a demand. For example, digital transformation automation, it's coming in the AI part. We have to get the some kind of a skill set automation specialist. In coming to the AI and ML part, we have to see some kind of additional skill set data scientist. Same way, if you are going for to cloud infrastructure, we need to need some cloud experts. So those kind of skill sets, it's creating the demand. The automation is creating the demand. One side of part is short skill the existing resource, but same resource we can utilize skill sets at the other hand.
Okay, now let's have some fun. We all love watching movies, right? And we've seen that there's some movies which have scared people, caused a certain degree of anxiety at least about AI. These days you talk about AI and a lot of tech professionals are like, "Oh, AI is going to steal my job." So despite the point that you just made that it's only going to take up like jobs which are mundane and probably create the need for you to upskill, how would you go about addressing those concerns? What would you tell your people in your organization? Because at the end of the day, we have to calm their nerves as well. So how challenging is that?
That's the toughest part. I'll take it first because we've had real world scenarios like that. Of course, when we work on transformations, roadmaps, and stuff like that, this is where I feel communicating the why to the team. Why are we taking certain decisions? Why are the team members or the next level leaders are subjected to do certain tasks is very, very important, right? The why can be the technology part of the why or the business part of the why, right? Business part of the why is like, I'll take a quick 30 seconds to explain it, right? I'm from basically a healthcare environment. So if you do not scale up or you speed up your infrastructure for catering the needs of the patients, then you're going to lose lives, right? People sitting here from India or wherever in the globe supporting a healthcare systems thousands of miles across do not know what is the impact that they are creating. Once you make them understand the impact because of a simple change or bringing down a specific segment within a network layer, if that segment is affecting a cardiology department or an ICU, you're playing with people's life, right? That's what we'll have to make the people understand. And that's where once you get that why cascaded to your team members and make them understand the importance of learning, cross-skilling, upskilling themselves and moving into a newer technology, which will far more make their CV look much more better, get them a good, better perspective from their career standpoint. That's where you'll be able to skill the gap, right? And you will be able to run a much more efficient, enhanced team, like maybe in the next 3 years or 5 years or whatever it is, right? That's a real world example that I would like to bring into this forum.
How about you, Arvind?
See, we normally look at technology and we say it's rocket science or neuroscience. That means it's something that we don't understand, very much like the Matrix movie. I never got it. I just never understood that movie. I don't mind admitting that. I think we got to simplify it. We got to simplify it because, and rightly as I was told, this has to be brought in capsules where people are able to understand its impact and also able to understand its negative connotations that it can cause. My data centers have an ICU status. That means that it just cannot go down.
Wow, that's a beautiful way of putting it.
Because you're dealing with lives, and life is not a statistic for me. So while we can talk 99.9999 available, excellent. Sounds right. The lawyers will love me for it. My technology friends will pat me on my back. And I'm going to repeat back the same sentence back to you saying this is your chance of surviving. As a family member, how would you accept that? Our technology has to be empathetic and our technology has to reach where it needs to be done with superiority but simplicity.
Beautiful. Anyone wants to add to that?
In addition to that, in the digital transformation strategy, we have to consider 3 steps: people, process, technology. In the people, we have to see the mindset of the peoples, right? So, as he said, why? People has to understand why. That mindset is changing, definitely that we can come to the next step. The first step is mindset. In the pharma industry also, one side as a digital transformation is giving easy of job on the operation efficiency. On other hand, the quality of service, as he said, ICU, those kind of things. In pharma industry, we are weighing the raw materials weight, right? That is very, very crucial for the tablet formulations. So those kind of things, we have to enable the IoT devices and then getting the weighing information and then updating in the system. Those kind of benefits, they have to understand. The digital technology is required somewhere. It's satisfying our quality of service, quality of products.
So how quickly are these technologies being adopted into local data centers? What is your assessment?
I think it's already there. It's catching up. If you see our data centers and our technologies that we have from this part of the world, I think we are far more ahead. This is based on my own assessment, and I've been there in the data centers in the US, rural areas. I was just talking to the people. I've literally seen data centers just located under a helipad. And I've seen data centers where like a water line is running right on top of the data center, right? Age-old data centers with age-old technologies you can never even imagine, right? But coming to how it is getting evolved, it is definitely evolving. I'm not talking about the Silicon Valleys of the US, but there are bits and pieces of US or UK, wherever you go. They are still catching up, but personally, I've seen data centers move into using a lot of SD-WAN technologies right now, moving into AVDs and AVSs, like virtual desktops, virtual servers are coming up. There are migration strategies for application workloads, which is getting migrated as part of the modernization of data centers. It is all happening. It's just we are thinking it is not happening, but it is all happening in bits and pockets. Maybe in the next 2-3 years, as this flow increases, you'll see a lot of modernization and stuff like that. But in my humble opinion, AI and ML will still have to catch up.
Anyone else wants to take that?
Yeah.
Sudhakar.
Yeah.
Also, please hold your mic like this. We want to hear your beautiful voice.
Okay. So just to add what you said, no, even in today in our organization, we are modernizing one of the 2 decades legacy application, which is running on the desktop application, but these are being supporting globally 200 plus countries. But the customer expectations are too high in terms of the reachability and availability. So what we are doing, we are transforming those things into the emerging technologies, turning into the microservice-based architecture, the cloud native, then bringing them AML and bringing them data lake into the things, right? Which will able to help us, the customers, to get the just-in-time insights, at the same time bringing the AML inside your business decisions. Because, right, if you look at the thing is that towards whatever the technology solution you are doing it, end of the day, it's for the business, what it meets, right? That's where, you have to choose the right technologies. I think data centers are scaling up like anything, and with all the hyperscalers, the kind of, availability, I think that is going to be the next set of futures, because you cannot able to say that one thing, you should be the, hybrid and multi-cloud will be the moving forward approach. That's how the entire thing is going to happen.
That's interesting, because that was going to be my next question. How's it going to pan out in the future, this digital transformation within the data center? How is it actually going to pan out in the future? On-ground realities, what can we expect to see?
Yeah. I think from the digital transformation perspective, I think from the data centers are changing, right? Because if you look at the data centers, how now we have seen recent articles, right? They are become the AI factories because AI being getting embedded inside the data centers in order to take the Q decisions and make sure that no data centers are optimally utilized, and also all sorts of services that is being offered in the cloud that is coming into the things, right? So these are the things I think that is the more and more is going to come data centers, and it will become the very futuristic, and it will make the more simple for building the applications. I think that is what is going to happen in future, right?
Yeah, to add on to that point is like one more thing that will happen, or it has started to happen, is like data centers, the data centers that we've come from is like huge, large data centers, how many ever floors and co-locations and stuff like that. That would definitely change. It will flip, right? You'll see a lot of data center consolidation. Data centers will shrink because if you have a deep look at it, everything is cost driven today, right?
True.
Be it be the cooling or whatever we were talking about, everything equates to a certain amount of cost, right? And why are GCC so powerful in India is just because of the cost, right? So that element will always exist until the whatever market is existing, right? So from that context, I would like to say that somebody has talked about nano data centers, right? That would be the future.
Data center in my pocket and
Whatever
on
it
my
is.
palm.
Right? So because convergence of data centers, collapsing of data centers, because if you see how the data centers are built, not all the data centers are owned by each and every organization. It is
course.
leased, right? There are age-old technologies within the data center. So you are carrying a lot of TCO, total cost of ownership, on your shoulders. So reduction of the total cost of ownership would be a key strategy moving forward. Consolidating your data centers, you don't want field tech agents running around 500 square miles to fix switches and routers, right? Consolidating it into one single power source, your UPS matters and stuff like that. So that is what is going to happen. And as part of your data center modernization strategies, I think data center shrinkage and then making it more robust, making it more smaller is what is going to happen. That doesn't mean the workforce is also going to reduce, right? The workforce
That is the one anxiety people have.
the workforce is going to be there, but the job is going to be even more compact, and like you don't want to carry a Nokia phone right now. So as simple as that.
I think I'm going to be the more pessimist of my colleagues here. I think the art of the possible has been demonstrated by technology, but the rubber is not meeting the road.
Oh, wow.
It's going to take many more years, and I just want to remind all of you that I know you're pretty responsible and have the power of decision making, but you still have a CFO. And the money is not there. And the money is not meeting the reality of the business that all of us are into. So while the possibility of the data shrinking into the pocket is there, its relevance in terms of the meaning it's going to add to the nature of business we are into has still got many more years to go. So I think we've got more years to go before we see technology actually meeting these aspirational demands.
My thing is like from a finance side, finance is a very, very old industry, almost 400 years old industry. What thing I can able to bring there is only a technology, like how simplified it can be, okay? So from a tech perspective, simplifying the application. My thing is forget about the underlying concept of hardware network. What's your crown jewel application, okay? See what is the best you can able to do it with the underlying hardware, okay? Get the best of breed of the hardware, okay? I use a public cloud right now. There are almost 300 plus components in public cloud. I use the best of breed there so that my application crown jewel can able to act upon, so that I can able to give user experience there. So that's my takeaway here. Yeah.
Thank you, Balaji. Jagadish, concluding comments?
Yeah, in the digital transformation implementation, blended of technology and then people process, we have to see.
How about you?
Yeah, my closing comments would be like there are a lot of automations which is man-made, right? Now we are seeking automations, we are going to AI ML, but remember we invented it, right? So there is always a human touch to it. And we did all of those things. So we are even more superior than whatever AI and ML that we have created. So
Natural intelligence is superior to artificial intelligence. Yes, we all believe that. I think we can all support that. How about you, Sudhakar?
So we are just still needed.
We're not irrelevant. Not yet.
Right, digital transformation is happening everywhere across all the industries, but you had to choose for the solution. Don't choose that there is technology is there. You had to decide what is the relevance of the technology, how you could able to simplify it. Think of what is the TCO, what is the ROI. Today, as rightly mentioned, CFO is asking, okay, I am spending 1 million, what is my ROI, by when I could able to get that. Every initiative, this is what the prerequisite, everyone is doing that part. Make sure that you are choosing the right technology, right set of the underlying hardware, software, whatever you call it, then make sure that is being implemented in simplest way and to meet the objective. Not just like that there's a new technology is coming, you could able to implement it. I think that's where closing comments from my side.
Arvind?
See, the fear of digital taking of jobs is real. So, given that, I think where that fear can be eliminated is ensuring that the skill has a meaning and relevance to the business applicability. Mere skill in a silo and the fear that the skill is going to be taken over by digital transformation or automation is very much real, and it's by design. So I think it's high time that we graduate out of the fear and not live into the fear.
That is beautifully put. With that, we conclude this discussion. We only have time for 2 questions. Does anyone have questions? Somebody give a mic to. Just 2. Yeah. Oh, wow. That is proactive. That is very proactive.
Yeah, my name is Ganga Prasad. See, please correct me if my understanding is right. The discussion was about a problem, which is actually skills shortage, and the solution to it was the digital transformation. Yes, the experts have all addressed. But what I also understand is that the solution to a problem is creating another problem, skill shortage. Like, somebody was saying, cyber security, we need data analyst. How is the industry going to address that?
Who wants to take that?
Okay, so that's a good question, by the way. So how's the industry going to face it is a larger perspective. I would say, how are we in this room as leaders or individual contributors are going to manage it, right? What is the solution that we have for the skill shortages or whatever is the automation that is coming up, that, like I rightly mentioned during the conversation, right? So we will have SMEs in the team, and we will have campus grads who are coming out of the colleges with whatever it is required, right? So the campus grads would not have the experience of the SMEs. The SMEs would not have or might not have the learning that these campus grads come out of, right? Like a Python or whatever these guys learn in the college. These guys might have to take an additional course. They would have not upskilled themselves and stuff like that. That's one of the major problems that we have in the market today. So a solution would be like marrying these 2 resources together. That would be one. Number 2, upscaling and cross-scaling these guys on a periodic manner to meet the expectations. And that's why we are very specific in making our resources understand the why, the business context and the problem statement. Once we understand that, Googles and YouTubes will be able to teach us how to go ahead and resolve the issue. Right? That's my perspective.
Perfect. One last question.
I think he gave a very polished answer, and I'm going to give you the direct answer here.
Don't mince words.
It's, see, this is your Darwin's theory of evolution. Industries that don't or are not willing to adapt are going to perish. So that means that find your answers, no matter how unconventional they are. The answers are not going to come to you, and definitely they're not going to come to you in modules and capsules that are consumable. And those industries that are waiting for them to come in modules and capsules to be consumed, guaranteed will be perished. So start looking for a job.
One more question, one quick question. Does anyone have one? Anyone? No? Okay, great. So we shall, oh, you have? Excellent.
Hi, thank you so much. So as per my observation, with respect to data centers are still going to be a I see as a black box where I don't have access to visibility. Whenever I want to learn the cloud skill, I can directly go for Azure or AWS in Google Cloud. I can request for the free credits. I'll be getting a 1 year credit or 2 years credit for me to practice it and upskill myself and to deliver the value to the end consumers or the customers. But if that is not the case with respect to data centers, because if I want to have a VLAN, I know VD1 or whatever going to be. I was keep writing in my paper for more than 2 to 3 years, but I never got an opportunity to directly look upon it. And still I'm speaking about all the seeing the videos and everything. That's are okay, but there is not a practical way of understanding what is that all about. So if that is the case, how you feel this skill gap is going to be closed with respect to data center?
Sir, very directly speaking, that doesn't mean that we are going to permit somebody to enter into the data center and start learning VLAN. Because you pull off one cable, my one life is lost, including mine. 2 lives are lost.
Yes.
So here, this is exactly where you will have to look at learning through experience and learning through an indirect way of application. Yes, you have to use your application, no doubt. But you have to understand that the data center is the nerve center. And people are not going to be permitted to sit at the nerve center to learn, because the consequence of that to the regular consumer is immensely huge. Take the example of an electricity board. You plug off something, God knows what and all is going to happen. Or a power plant, or definitely a health system. So you will have to look at augmenting knowledge on this. Data center is not a direct application of knowledge. So our learning techniques will have to necessarily change.
All right, all the other questions, we'll have to take them offline.
I would like to say one thing here, like I want to ask something. So continuously for past 3 years, I'm just coming to this W.Media convention meet, whichever happening, wherever it's going on. So I'm Dr. Bhagyalakshmi from SRM University. So regularly we are trying to push this question to industry heads like you people. Here I can see multiple domain people are there, multiple industry people are there. So when we are getting ready with students for this particular domain, seriously we are a little bit empty-handed. We need a proper curriculum to make this domain to be enriched with the young minds. So last time also I placed the same question, but after this last meet, I was able to meet up some 2-3 industries with industrial visit and produce some knowledge. But how come you see that the young minds, when they are coming out, you feel that they are enriched with what are the requirements whichever you are expecting? Are they matching your needs? If it is not, what kind of answers or solution you industry people trying to give us? But we look for a solid curriculum or no things to deliver with the students.
I'm a proud member of the CIO club, and I'm going to go for some shameless marketing here. And this is something that the CIO club is doing. And at least since you're from SRM and from the Chennai area, I'd strongly recommend that universities partner with organizations and groups like the CIO club. Because this is not going to be a curriculum change, but this is going to be an applicability of what you learn in academics to be mapped and matched to real world experience. So the more you have industry academia collaboration, and that collaboration through bodies like the CIO club, that is where our students are going to get real world mapping to what they learn in the theory in their syllabus. So I won't call for a curriculum change, but I will call for a curriculum adaptation to real world evidence.
Perfect. That concludes this discussion. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Balaji. Thank you, Jagadesh. you have?
From a
Sorry, sir,
CEO
but
club, we have visited your SRM University and made a MOU, and our representatives are coming and doing a lot of knowledge transfers.
perfect. Thank you, Balaji. Thank you, Jagdish. Thank you so much, Sudhakar. Thank you, Arvind. Thank you, Kalaiselvan. I'm sorry, I'm so just terrified of mispronouncing your name. Thank you so much. And that was an excellent discussion. A huge round of applause for our panelists.